to the Cinementalists. Noun, plural. Definition, those whose love for movies runs so deep, they can't help but do a podcast about them. Hosted by Colton Robertson and Joseph George. Hello everybody and welcome in to the Cinementalists. Today we continue our coverage through LGBTQ plus Pride Month. I'm very excited as today we are hitting the film Queer. It was released at the Venice Film Festival on September 3rd, 2024, based on the novel of the same name by William S. Burroughs and written for the screen by Justin Kuritsky and directed by Luca Guadagnino. That's the same writing and directing team as another movie we've already covered, Challengers. So, very, very excited. I'm Colton Robertson. I'm joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
Oh, what up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. So we're crossing our second Luca G off the list as far as what's covered here on the Cinementalists. How'd you feel about Queer?
Well, I think this is my second Luca G in total, and I'm very quickly falling in love with this guy. I don't know if I've just seen two of his movies that I really, really like, but I thought that Challengers would kind of be on a pedestal all on its own for quite some time for him. And even when I went back and watched his other stuff, if there was anything, I don't know. I didn't think anything could touch Challengers. And I don't think it's not above Challengers, but it's crazy that it's in like that ballpark.
It's in the conversation.
Yeah. I'm feeling good. I did not expect at all. I don't know. I didn't know what to expect from this, but the eeriness, this mystical-ish kind of side that was there, and then just all the romance and general still did very well with, kind of the flip this week of only having like one woman. I'm trying to think of like there were how many women there were in the movie.
I think you're right.
Like,
I mean, there were a couple.
Like the mothers,
Dr.
maybe,
Cotter.
you had true.
You had Dr. Cotter, and you had the chick who Allerton is kind of going with. I think that's. But beyond that, those are the only two women who are prominent in any capacity. So it actually is a perfect flip to Portrait of a Lady on Fire in that regard.
And pretty much everyone's queer. Like, I mean, it's not like that they're trying to I don't know, like not show that there's no straight people here. I think the focus is on the queer people of the town.
The queer people in this community. They found their place and they go together. Like makes sense. And I really, really do love the depiction of 50s Mexico here. I love the kind of anachronistic feel of it, the way that they turn on the jukebox and Nirvana comes on or, shit like that. Like, I like that it doesn't make any sense in that regard. And, it goes into the feel, it lends to that overall feeling of mysticism throughout the movie, There's a weird sort of purveying sense of something lying beneath the surface that I really, really love. And at first it can feel a little almost sinister, and it doesn't prove to not be sinister, by the end of the movie with the self-eating snake and the, the image of shooting Allerton in the head and everything. But it's definitely softer than you thought. Whenever there's something that you don't see bubbling beneath the surface, usually I like to compare it to a David Lynch movie where it's like surface level, it's all sunshine and rainbows, and then you dig in a little deeper and you're like, oh, there's something really twisted and fucked up going on here. There actually does end up being something much softer beneath the surface than you're expecting, like almost like that's what's brimming. And it makes sense at the beginning, the way Lee presents as a he gets around, he's a lover. Yes. He likes to do his thing. He's it's a Lee family pervasion, they've always been perverts, as he says. And then Allerton comes along, and what begins to bubble beneath the surface is almost sentimentality, like realizing like, oh wait, I think I might really, really want to focus on this, and that's new. That's new for Lee, and I like that a lot.
Yeah, he was. He's been Aki multiple times.
yeah.
It feels like he was a regular over there. But then it was nice to see like the difference of just a normal kind of run of the mill interaction that he has, and then the one that does change things. The one that ended up doing things for him. Because I mean it. I don't know how mystical this movie was trying to get, but it does feel that like this journey he was very much supposed to go on. Like this, even though like the end, ending wise, it seems that he ends up alone. That he's not with Eugene whatsoever. It's not the happy ending you'd expect. He's not even with anybody. And maybe I don't know, his partner, whoever he was with, died before him at the very end. But I don't know. At least it seems that he was alone at the end, which is kind of crazy.
Well, and it's interesting. I'm excited to speculate on how literal to take that.
Yeah,
because that whole
he doesn't
sequence,
shoot him in the head, obviously.
He obviously doesn't shoot him in the head.
But
the entire 2 years later epilogue is. I mean, hard to tell what's real and what's fake. Like that's why, or imaginary almost. Because I like to think that. I like to think that there is a little bit less literal feeling going. Like it is more just the way
he's thinking this maybe right now. Like
it's a little bit of a fear,
moment, even if he does die alone, at least he has this memory. Or it could be a fear. I guess
a fear of what that he'll never be able to move on. A fear that he'll never be able to move past what happened here. And I do think that there's the 2 years epilogue coming immediately after an ayahuasca trip does not help. It's like, what is it part of it? Is it not part of it? Is it literally 2 years later? I don't know. There's all sorts of feeling there. Does he, whenever he loses Allerton in the jungle, does he just go back and decide to see through the trip? Like is that there's all sorts of stuff there, and I don't want to think about it too literally or anything, but
you are kind of right though. He does snap like from space or whatever back into the town or like wherever in Mexico
he
that
falls
he was in.
out of the sky.
I guess it could be very much still the journey he's going on. And I guess, I thought, I guess I was operating under that, like, once this split happened in the jungle, that they actually just separated. But no, the split was really weird, too. Like, it was like, why is he walking so fast? Or, like, why are they not trying to I don't know. They're in the middle of the jungle. They have to stick together, right? Or I don't know. The red flags were kind of going off. And then, he does just boom, disappear, and then we get, I don't know, 2 years later. Yeah, that is, I guess I don't know. I was kind of taking it not literally because I mean we have Ouroboros. I mean there's crazy stuff going on, but like I was taking it as like this was his life, or like this would be at least how his life played out right now if he just continued on. I don't know, was and maybe that is the whole trip to him, or to show him that, like, because it is kind of sad and tragic, but there is like a beauty in it a little bit too. It's like a weird, like he is very, very lonely, but even on his deathbed, like while no one is there, he can still have this feeling.
He still
of,
feels,
like,
he still feels him there. And that's that. I mean, there is like you said, there is a beauty in that. But that's why I'm like, and don't get me wrong, I don't exactly anticipate that this movie is trying to be like, and actually, he'd get a happy ending. No, it doesn't feel like that kind of movie. It does feel like a certain sadness seeps through the cracks in this movie. One of the things that I immediately thought of as soon as this movie ended is that I want to double feature this with All of Us Strangers and get my soul just fucking wrecked. Just fuck me all the way up. I
was thinking a La Chimera, but then I feel like it would La Chimera, like no offense to this movie, but La Chimera, I think, is this just kind of turned up a little bit more. Like it's at least with the mystical side and that, at least that part of the story. If I don't know, if they dove into the mystical side a bit more in this one, I think it could have been even more interesting. But yeah, that would be, I mean, a triple feature of La Chimera, All of Us Strangers, and this. Yeah, they are this kind of I don't know, very mystical, sad but beautiful-ish love story. Yeah, it's like this weird. You can pull beauty, I think, out of any love story that there is. But this one is, I don't know, was very more sad than anything. I think coming from just Lee's perspective. Like I think he, even whenever they were like in love and having good moments, I feel like. Even the small little, I don't know, like he was just talking about something, I don't even remember what, but then Eugene kind of just didn't really give him much of a reaction at all, or just kind of just, I don't know, didn't say anything. Man, he's kind of a man of few words, you know, I feel like, and then Lee was kind of like, oh, okay, whatever, that's fine, and then he went on this character, and it was like, oh, you know, and then made him laugh, and then it was all good, and so it's like, there are these back and forths, I feel like they do, of like showing that he is taken over by him, but then also he's like, is he the right person for me? I don't know. Like it was, I feel like even Lee was going back and forth while he was swooned completely over and taken by him. But
yeah, no, and I do think that it's a fun opposition to Portrait of a Lady on Fire again, as you said at the top. This is actually pretty much exactly what I was talking about in the male-driven romances versus the woman-driven romances, where this is still about winning. Lee is trying to win him over. He's trying, like there's a sense of possessiveness and a way that he wants him to be his. And there is no equality. There's never equality in this movie until they go on that ayahuasca trip together, and that ends up driving Allerton away.
That's true. Yeah.
There's a when it comes to, there's one thing you said that I don't not agree with, but there's I don't know how to say that exactly, because I'm with you in a regard. You said that even when they were in love, Allerton is never in love with Lee. Yeah. Now I do think that I think that there's a certain lack of synchronicity between the two, because I don't think, like, whenever they go on the ayahuasca trip and Allerton's like, I'm not queer, I'm disembodied. You know, it's the opposite. It doesn't mean the same thing as when Lee said it during his heroin high. You know, Allerton means it.
Yeah.
You know, Allerton means I'm not queer, I'm disembodied. At least he does to himself. You know, Lee meant it to just kind of be all poetic and metaphorical and stuff, like, right now I'm high as fuck, I can be anybody I want to be. Yeah. Whereas Allerton's like, no, I'm pretty convinced that I'm not gay. And this ayahuasca kind of revealed it to him almost, or like made him accept it. It showed him the mirror, and you know, that's what he saw. So during it, I think that there's an element to Allerton that's obviously curious, obviously willing to explore, and I do think that there's something in him that wants to love Lee, and that's why he does all of this. That's why he goes with him. That's why he sleeps with him. That's why he goes to South America. You know, that's why he spends weeks with him, and knows who he is. He knows what he wants, and he's there the whole time. You know, like he heard about Lee. You know, he's been Aki before. You know, and I think that there's obviously something that draws him to Lee. That's why whenever, like, that's why I'm like, I half agree, half don't agree about the in love thing, because
I'm wondering
to completely disagree would call this unrequited love from Lee's perspective, and I don't think that's the case. I do think there's a little love there. It's just not the same kind of love.
Because, yes, Lee is much more completely like taken over. He sees like a future, like he like I don't know, bro. You're right. He's trying to win. He is trying to take away, as Lee or Eugene even says, like his independence. Like, what do I lose?
Who's trying
my
to take away your
independence.
independence?
And so, but during the trip, I feel like Lee hears Eugene say that. Does Eugene actually say that? And maybe they're just so connected that he understands, and it's more of like
it's finally the telepathy,
but
telepathy.
But then they have their. I mean, they are one. They became like I don't know. They had a moment, and even I don't know. Like after it's all over, Dr. Cotter's like, you should have seen you two last time.
Mm-hmm.
Like you should. Were like holy.
Well, and I do think that but I don't like. There's obviously something romantic here, but I don't know that it's strictly. It's not about. I don't know that that's about them being in love. More just that they finally understand each other in some regard.
I don't think that. Like Lee just wants Eugene, and I feel like that's just kind of it, and he just kind of wants that, and that's all. But Eugene, I feel like he's just bi, or I don't think he's fully straight. I don't think he's not queer. I just don't think there is quite a label like for him, and that's why.
I agree with that.
Like the disembodied line, I feel like it makes like actual sense for him, while Lee was more. I feel like he is still. He knows he's queer, but he's still disembodied in the sense where he like hasn't found his true path, or I don't know.
Right.
He's I mean, obviously he's on drugs. Like, bro is not really doing the best. He's obviously like covering something up. I feel like I'm wondering who. Like someone asks him of like, like who are you trying to communicate so badly with, your wife, and I don't think it's that. But I don't think it's a previous person. I think it is like either Eugene or to like connect with current people more. Like it's not like a La Chimera where he's trying to actually look for someone in his past or someone who's gone to communicate with. I feel like it is more of like he wants to connect with people now, because all of the shots where he's like trying to reach out and touch someone, or and
that's always Allerton.
Mm-hmm. I guess that's true, but like that is his goal is to go after Allerton right now, or after Eugene, and that. So like I feel like if he could connect with the person that he's trying to on a deeper level, like, and I feel like that's what he ultimately wants. Like in this trip, he gets it. Like he gets to become one. Like they were communicating on I don't even know what level. So,
I want to talk to you without speaking. I want to touch you without feeling. Like there's a. There's a lot there, and I think that you're absolutely right about it from Lee's point of view, and I do think that Lee's point of view is the main lens that this movie comes from, which is what makes Allerton such an elusive figure. I think there's never been quite a massive a minefield of mixed signals as Allerton is willing to provide.
Yeah, bro does not let it be simple. I don't know.
He doesn't want it to be known. There's there is an elusiveness to this man that he's certainly putting on, and I really, really love Drew Starkey as Allerton. I think he plays that excellently.
Do you know him from anywhere else? I couldn't place it for the longest time, and then I finally hit the IMDb, and I'm like, wow, that
Drew
that
Starkey.
Guy. I don't know if you ever even watched it. My brother forced me to watch this Netflix show, Outer Banks. On Outer Banks, he's like, I feel like this character is like the straightest, most douchebaggiest guy. Like, I don't know, which is crazy, and I think that's why I didn't recognize him, is because like I don't know, he's just playing so different. But I mean, man, how like. This dude's just skin and face and jawline. I don't know. Like the dude just kind of has
gorgeous.
Like,
he's
like,
gorgeous.
Oh my lord.
Yeah, there's a really like one of those things where we filtered last movie through the female gaze. You're looking at this. You're looking at this guy through the eyes of a gay man. Like you're like, wow, there's literally not a single imperfection on you. You are fucking gorgeous.
And no offense to Daniel Craig, they're trying to make him look.
No, they're
he's
well, and that's the thing too, is they're trying to make, and he's still pretty hot.
Yeah, that's
a lot
true.
of the
It's
time.
it's kind of tough. It's tough to make
He's still
the
pretty
man.
hot a lot of the time. There's actually one shot. It's so funny, and this sounds like a diss to the other guy that I'm going to compare him to. Whenever they're swimming underwater. And they're like looking at each other, and Daniel Craig's got his lips all pursed because he's holding his breath and stuff. He looks just like Tom Hardy. Kills me. He looks just like Tom Hardy. Who was also a hot guy. So like that's why I'm like it's super funny that there's like even the slightest bit of a connection there between the Brits. But yeah, no, I really do love their chemistry too. I haven't read the book Queer, but I've started it. I've read like the first couple. I can't remember if it's broken up by chapters or whatever, but just I've read enough to meet the characters they introduce in this film. The character Jason Schwartzman plays, the character Lee and Allerton, and bringing them to life in a way like I will absolutely be going back and reading the book, and I will probably finish it within the week. Like that is, I'm eager to see what the differences are, because from my perspective of what I have read, the book is even more filtered through the gaze of Lee than it is Allerton, and that's because it's semi-autobiographical for William S. Burroughs. Like William S. Burroughs is William Lee.
Oh, okay.
And they're really, really compelling author. I also read Naked Lunch, which is a wild book. It's just like a bunch of vignette stories set back to back to back, and no relation, just a bunch of stories. Super good. Strongly recommend. Yeah, a weird author with a crazy, dirty, ethereal sensibility. It's very, very strange to see the kind of dichotomy of feelings at play. Like there's a grime and a dirt layer over something so containing multitudes. I think it's gorgeous.
Yeah. Why was I getting like Last Picture Show, like a forgotten episode that'll never come out because of I have some mistake that I feel like some editing weird, but like a weird kind of this air of just complete sadness or just but then there's this weird like why am I actually happy or getting these good feelings from where? Like it's like I don't know where they're like coming from, but there are sweet moments here, like whenever they have their first date, whatever, and it's not going really the best. It's kind of awkward. I don't know. Like Eugene even throws up, and then it's all kind of bad.
Well,
but,
and then it's really sweet immediately after. Like all like I love the imagery of Daniel Craig like running his hands over his ribs. I love that. I think that's a gorgeous depiction of their intimacy, because it allows. In this context, it allows Daniel Craig to fawn over him without him having to do much. Like there's a distance he's able to keep, and that kind of defines their relationship. And I think that's kind of an interesting way to depict it physically.
It was kind of equal there. Like I would say up until the ayahuasca trip, it wasn't really equal. But like in that one moment where it's like Lee is he's just kind of going for lust, or bro is ready, bro's ready to go. But this was kind of like, okay, you know what? You need some comfort. I don't know. Like he was just kind of there with him in that moment. And that, so it was, I think, and maybe that's the journey that Lee was supposed to go. Maybe that's like what he's supposed to kind of realize is that, I don't know, he is still, I don't think the ownership or the taking away of independence was so like focused on as it was like in Portrait of a Lady on Fire, or how much like the man oppressed just the relationships and stuff. But
no,
here,
not by any stretch.
I think it is still here like a little bit, at least like with him saying, you're taking away my independence. Like, what am I gonna do? Like, because I mean, that's at least what what he loves right now. He's young. He's single, or I guess not. Yeah, single, kind of, or whatever. Just floating around, and just doing his thing. I love just. It is always so hot, and everyone's so sweaty, and everyone, I don't know. It's like, but then the linen clothes, like I don't know why. I just have
the vibes are fucking immaculate.
I want like, just a full linen outfit. Like I've always wanted
given
one.
Moment, all of them look fucking great. The frame is fucking beautiful. Everything is gorgeous. The production design is outstanding. I'm pretty sure there's miniature work. A few times with like the cars and the plane.
A plane taking off? Yeah, that's the one I caught. At least the plane.
There's one where there are cars, they're traveling in opposite directions. I think it's when they're going to South America. That it just struck me as a little strange looking, and I'm not sure if it was because they were fake cars or if because they were miniature cars. But when I saw the plane, I was like, oh, maybe they were miniatures. So I haven't gone back and looked at it. But
there was one shot as well where it was kind of looking down a street, and I don't think that street was real. Like I think up until like just a certain point, and I don't know. It was a really cool. I don't know. I feel I can't. It wasn't miniature, but it maybe just like a matte painting facade, something.
Right, and that's what I love about the aesthetic of this movie is whenever Daniel Craig goes, I mean, disembodied, he's outside of himself, and he's looking into the little version of the hotel, and he sees himself do all that stuff.
Yeah,
that's what the whole movie kind of feels like. You know what I'm saying? Like it does feel like it feels like a play set. It almost feels like the town that they're in, the ship ahoy and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
It almost feels aesthetically false. I like it though, in a really lovely way.
It was that's where I feel like this Wes Anderson-ish sort of feeling came from, was like the town and kind of the setting and the buildings and
the credit sequence was pretty West too.
Yeah, that's, I don't know, there was a lot of
still
Wes.
frame and just like stuff scattered about it, the glasses on the bed, the pages on the bed, the guns laid out and all that stuff. Like
it's, I mean, I don't know, I felt so much Wes in here, a lot of Kubrick, as just for the eeriness and kind of, I don't know, and even the end, like it just felt.
The end felt like Luca Guadagnino's 2001: A Space Odyssey. Like I was like, wait a fucking minute, we are doing. Yes, he is.
I was
like
waiting for it. Like,
he's being reborn and dying, and all that good stuff. There's a lot going on there, and I think that it's. I mean, I don't want to sell this movie like I've got a perfect understanding of it, because I don't. There's a beautiful abstractness about it that I'm happy to work through and give my interpretation and everything, but I'm not confident that there's any one thing that is happening at the end, like is happening. You go, that is what is happening here,
at least I was like, oh no, he is actually dying alone. And man, that is kind of sad, but I don't know, there is some beauty in taking that he had this moment.
And it certainly could be the case, I think,
you said like he died born again. I think that's more likely the scenario, is that this is all kind of maybe still the trip, and he realizes that if he continues on the path that he's going, this will be the end of his life, or like that this is the path that he's currently on, and so that he does kind of die. He accepts that that's that path, and then he's like, no, and then he continues on wherever from the end of the movie, but he's actually still back in South America. I don't know, and he actually never left. I feel like that's maybe the ending I want more. I feel like that's the happiest sort of ending that you can get, is like him actually kind of realizing, no, it is supposed to be more equal, or because he like makes like a contract up or whatever, like twice, 2-3 times a week. Is that fair? Valid? Is that acceptable terms?
You do like it sometimes, though, don't you?
Yeah. Damn. Yeah, it was I don't know, and everything done. They got into it right when they started the lip contact. Boom. They were. I feel like it was on.
Well, and that's. I really, really loved the sex scenes in this movie. I think that they were really, really delicately handled and crazy intimate. And, speaking to the lack of equality in the relationship, I don't know that those might be the only moments when that's not felt. Really, strictly. Even though we do have the purveying sense of, the contract hanging over their head and stuff, and it was a breach of contract. I'm sorry.
I shouldn't have tried so fast after the last time.
It's
why is he's so Benoit Blanc even when he's not trying to be? I don't know.
Yeah, he's just playing. He's playing American, and there's only so much. There's only so many ways Daniel Craig's going to do that.
I'll never be able to get Benoit Blanc, I think, out of my head. So this was just kind of like Benoit Blanc kind of.
Well, Benoit Blanc is also Benoit Blanc is a gay character also. So like there's nothing that. Nothing that really separates them aside from some characteristics and a time period, they're different characters. But he's got that voice, and you just can't help but go, "It's an onion inside. It's a donut inside of a donut's hole."
Oh man, yeah. I don't know. I guess it did hit me like kind of while watching. It's like, I remembered mostly Knives Out and stuff like that. But then just to be like, what's the actual actor's name who's playing
Drew Starkey?
To be him, to be like, well, I'm like making out with James Bond right now. To imagine like to be like, I'm imagining, he wanted to be an actor probably his whole life. He grew up, I don't know if he idolized James Bond, whatever, but just to be in the game and be like, I'm actually fucking James Bond on camera right now and it will be in time forever. Like, I don't know. That's kind of a crazy, just in real life.
I've made it a little bit. There's that is cool. And I mean, Daniel Craig is a kind of a living legend. It's kind of astonishing how little I've seen him in because I've never watched his Bond movies.
It's
and if I did, that would like double or it would like double the amount of Daniel Craig movies I've seen. I
don't really recognize anything else that he's.
I'm like, I really need to watch The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. That's really high on my list.
Okay,
that's a Fincher one that I've heard just fantastic things about. Let's see.
He's a stormtrooper in The Force Awakens?
Yeah, that doesn't count. It's him and Tom Hardy, actually. Him and Tom Hardy have a scene together where they're side by side as stormtroopers.
Okay. Wow, yeah, that doesn't count. But then, it would just be Knives Out and Glass Onion is the only thing that I know this man from. But yeah, it was. And again, I haven't even. I think I've seen the Bond, some of his films in passing, or just, I don't know, they were on the living room TV for some parts. But yeah, I couldn't tell you anything that happens in them whatsoever. But yeah, no, I guess so. The most I know him.
Logan Lucky was the other one I've seen him in. That's a goodie. I like that one a lot.
I guess, is he gay in that one too? I don't know. Because I guess, kind of crazy, the only thing I have actually seen him in, he's...
He might be. Now that I think about it, he might be.
Yeah. I guess I can't tell, or I don't even know anything about Logan Lucky there. But is he Logan? Is he Mr. Logan?
No. Logan. The Logans are played by Channing Tatum and Adam Driver.
Oh, whoa. Channing Tatum. Oh, whoa. What kind of movie is that?
It's a great movie, dude. I really, it's a heist movie. I love it.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah,
definitely one that's worth checking out.
He's got the range, I guess. He's Bond, Benoit Blanc, and kind of a disheveled Benoit Blanc here. A little bit, but no. I don't want to try to headcanon the same world too much here, because this I don't think Benoit Blanc goes down. I don't know. This doesn't feel right for Benoit Blanc. Something had to go wrong. Some case went so horribly wrong. He's like, I gotta just go to Mexico.
I'm going to Mexico.
Live out my days.
He gets hooked on heroin,
That's true.
That's all it takes. I really did love. I'm a big fan of drug movies. Regardless of if they're depicting them in a positive or negative light. Wolf of Wall Street, Trainspotting, usually negative. And this definitely continues that trend. I love the depiction of, disembodiment, there's nothing recreational about heroin. I loved that line, I love the way that he, when he turns to TV static. One of my favorite moments in the entire movie is that like minute and a half after he shoots up Well, and the whole build up to him shooting up, like him doing the whole process, shooting up, and then just sitting there.
Very Wes, it felt like too.
Yeah,
there, a little bit, but yeah, it was I don't know. At first, I'm like, man, is he fucking doing this? Like, because it was so uncut. I'm like, man, he might just be fucking legitimate. Like, obviously, he's not shooting up heroin.
No,
on
right,
camera, whatever. But like, I was like, I guess I don't know what chemical he heated up, whatever.
Yeah, how method are we going
yeah,
here?
and,
No,
yeah, but no. To see him not actually like fall over, like I was expecting the classic kind of heroin trip or whatever.
Well, and that's what makes you go, oh, he's been high the whole fucking movie.
Yeah. This is bro's idol state. Like this is his.
Like it's that moment that you go, oh wait, this is just what he's like.
Yeah.
He is always on heroin, which is not ideal. And I love the vulnerability of the withdrawal sequence. I think that's another time that he gets to surrender to Eugene further, He continues to be in his debt almost.
Yep.
And I really, really love it because, again, there's a softness to Gene during those scenes that he doesn't really depict in any other time. He does clearly care about him in some capacity. He wants him to be okay. He sticks around through all of this. He doesn't besmirch him. He doesn't dismiss him, In fact, more than anything, Lee dismisses himself and projects it onto Gene.
Yes.
And then Gene's like, that's not fair.
He's like, what the fuck, dude?
I loved that. I loved that sequence.
Yeah. And I think, like, for Eugene, at least, it feels like it was mostly like he was on a path of discovery as well. And like the line, like Dr. Cotter telling him, like, what are you so afraid of? The door's already open. You can't close it now. All you can do is look away. But why would you? And he gets very, he's like, oh, well, fuck, or whatever. He's like, oh, we got to get going now. I think so. So he does have that moment where he's like, no, I'm not queer. I am just disembodied. But even after it's over, he's not sure. Like, I don't know. Like, he's still kind of, I feel like, stumbling, or he's still, or maybe he's just like, no, like I've accepted it. Like I am trying to move on. He doesn't want to take in what Dr. Cotter's saying. But like, I feel like it is Eugene's story is more of like that there isn't one type of love that it is for him, or like this isn't. I don't know. Like it.
I agree from an outside point of view that Allerton is not queer, as he puts it. I think he's deciding he's not queer. Which is I think Allerton's story is as sad, if not more sad, than Lee's.
Because it feels like he is like he wants to actually be, because he's like trying to get Lee to take him to the Green Lanterns or whatever, and goes to the most flamboyantly gay guy in the bar and is like, hey, you take me, whatever. And I feel like this was just a way to get Lee to try to take him, but he never like made the move, sort of thing. So it was, I feel like the whole dynamic of the relationship for like Allerton, the reason he stayed with Lee was, I feel like he just wanted to, I don't know, like kind of have Lee to be his usher through this world, a little bit. And he stuck with him even all through, South America, all through everything. So it's like, yeah, I think it is. I think I agree with you more now. Is like he is deciding himself. Like it's not like he's not listening.
That's why I think that like the reason what Cotter says scares him is because he's already decided that what he wants. Like he the mirror was held up to him that one trip. He saw what he saw. He didn't like it, and he left. Like that was what the guy said. It's not a trip. It's a mirror. It will show you something, and you might not like it. And I think that's what happened to Allerton.
Allerton leaves and Lee stays, and maybe that's because the end is, at least if I don't know, it might not be true, but Allerton is going back to South America, bringing someone else with him. So like at least that's what he's told from from Schwartzman, right? From like, so I don't like, is that, I wonder.
I'm pretty sure there's also a line where he said he was going like he was going to find you or something like that, and he said
like,
you never heard from him, or
said he'd meet you there, or like he said like he's expecting you there. He never told you about it. So yeah, it's like, and if it's real or not, I don't know. It is interesting, but yeah, because it feels at least that Allerton is like he. And this could just be in Lee's head and thinking of what he wants Lee to do, or want Allerton to do. But like he did go back eventually, and he left immediately, but he's going back to finish the journey a little bit or something. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, it's much more through Lee's like lens and through his life, like most of the movie. But like that's why Allerton's just really, really distant, and he doesn't say a whole lot, and you have to just, I don't know, it's piece a lot yourself of like what he's feeling. And so yeah, they never just explicitly say anything, and I like how, like, if this is Lynchian a little bit, I'm so game to watch his movies, so. And I feel like I don't know, maybe at the beginning it felt that way, maybe more a little bit.
It's certainly there are moments, but it's not a Lynchian movie.
Okay.
And Lynchian's such a hard term to define that it's like, I don't it's more a feeling that comes with a Lynch movie, because aesthetically he's not a filmmaker that you go like visually, this is a David Lynch movie.
I see.
He doesn't have a Wes Anderson thing going on. He doesn't have something where you go, this is obviously a David Lynch movie when you look at it. It is the act of watching it, listening to it, seeing it.
It comes from the inside.
All of it is Lynchian. So no, this isn't. Your comparison to Kubrick with the dash of Wes Anderson is more apt.
I don't know what else I was trying to throw in there. Or what else it was kind of given me. But I think it was just kind of the general feeling of La Chimera. I don't know. And that was the only other movie that kept coming back, and just this talking to the other plane, kind of the actual overarching goal of the movie, while there's other little things along the way. And yeah, it was
I'm interested by telepathy. Yeah, and that's such a funny premise from the outset, that like I didn't realize that was going to be the journey of the movie, like I thought that was just him making conversation at the beginning of the movie, and then slowly you see he's heading to South America to find the yahe. It might be referred to here as ayahuasca.
Yes. A very, I don't know, a thing that scares the hell out of me, but man, I'd be lying if I said I didn't want to try it.
Not intrigued,
but
yeah.
This is and I trust them fully, a mirror that you will look into, and you could either see something real bad or something real good, and it's like, I don't think I'm there. This is a White Lodge-esque, I feel like, thing. It's like you got to be fucking ready to get there. But yeah, this is I don't know, crazy whenever they're like, yeah, you tripped over it, on your way here. It's like, there it is, dude.
It's all around us, yeah.
It's this just root, or this.
Do you feel anything? No, I think we just drank dirt and twigs, and they laugh, and then they vomit their hearts.
There's my heart on the ground in front of me. Yeah, it's like, okay. I mean, goddamn, you got like, what the heck? Like, just a thing that grows can make you just have this. It's crazy. That's like insane. I just don't understand it, and there's too much unknown, and that's why I'm like, I don't even know how to even access. Do you have to actually go to South America, find someone like this, and like what the fuck is the process?
I have no idea.
At least in a developed country, it's like no, I feel like it's like a dark web sort of. It's like very just illegal. I don't know. But
I don't even know that I'd want to engage in it in that capacity. I feel like it would almost be wrong to do it like in my apartment.
Oh yes, I guess that's true.
That
does. I feel like I would like a shaman or someone to guide me through a little bit. Like I would like to be out in nature. I don't know. So it would be ideal to be in kind of, I guess, a
somewhere in South America.
Or, yeah. So I guess fair enough. But I don't know. That's I'm not in South America, and I don't know when I'll happen to be down there. I would have to really.
But maybe I'll stop by Dr. Cotter's place.
Yeah.
See what's going on.
It's quite the detour just for an ayahuasca trip, and I don't think. I don't know. At least I'm not to the point in my life where I'm like, I think I need an ayahuasca trip to help me through my drug I don't know, or like just my life.
I need to figure things out here.
It's more of just a pure curiosity of like, what the hell does this mean? I don't know.
I'm also really fascinated by Allerton's willingness to go along with everything.
I was surprised he was taking the trip too. I thought he was just
there. I was too. Like whenever Lee's like, I'd be happy to try it, and so would he. And he's like, yep. He just like nods his head like, for sure, no doubt.
Yeah.
I was like, I thought that was going to be something where he's like, what'd you just sign me up for? And he's like, nope, I'm down. I'm ready for some ayahuasca. Let's do this. Yeah.
And like I thought, Dr. Cotter at first was like, I don't know. It was hard to read her, as like, what are you here for? What are your intent? But then it's like, oh no, you did come to the right person, like you couldn't have found a better person to come to, and just waking
him up with a fucking gun in his face and everything. It's so good.
Man. Yeah, so that she was awesome. Just Jason Schwartzman as Joe.
Oh my god, dude,
good old Joe. Love me. I don't know. So yeah, he's just the way he sits on the booth, having his foot like kicked up, or like him just I don't know, so spitting the lime out.
Like there's just. I love what he's doing, and it's not easy when you're in prosthetics like that to act to act as limber and lively as he is, because he's moving very naturally, and I love it.
Oh my god,
I love Jason Schwartzman. I wish he was more prominent, and if he was, I would consider giving him for performance anyway, because he's that good in his brief time.
It's tough. He gets the honorary.
He gets the honorary, but yeah, it is really tough to decide officially between Daniel Craig and Drew Starkey for me. I do think I'll go Daniel Craig just because he's like the lead, and he does do a lot. I don't know that I've ever seen better drunk acting.
Ooh.
That's true. The way he depicts being drunk is spot fucking on. I love whenever he's having a tough time getting the cigarette in his mouth. He's like, fumbling to put a cigarette in his mouth, and the way that his like hand lingers on his face and stuff, and just like you can tell sensorily he's feeling everything. It's very satisfying. I love that depiction of drunkenness, and
it's like actually illegal to drink on set, or like is it just do you think they actually do it?
No, it's not illegal, but there's a certain point where the level of drunk he's depicting would be irresponsible if you want to properly produce a movie.
That's very good. Hey, Daniel Craig, go fucking down half of this tequila bottle real quick, and then go on camera.
3 shots of tequila in 30 seconds.
That's true. And it's like, hey, you're drinking fast today, man. He's like, what's going on? But yeah, this crazy. For the first time, I feel like in forever, and I missed it last movie. I'm pissed. But both movies, Portrait of a Lady on Fire and Queer, both recognized at the Kansas City Film Critics Circle Award. They get the Tom Poe Award for the Best LGBTQ Film. Also, Portrait of a Lady on Fire got Best Foreign Film as well. Nominated.
There we go. I love to hear that.
Yeah, so
after we talked about how it was snubbed at the Oscars.
True.
Yeah. I like
just
that.
Nominated. I guess it was still just nominated, but at least it got that. It was recognized, but it did win the best LGBT film. So that's nice. But yeah, nice to get our very, very much more important award ceremony than any Oscar, anything at all. The Kansas City Film Critics Circle Award, we know, is
Tom Poe was a G, by the way.
Yeah, Tom Poe. I was trying to. I don't know. I've never heard of Tom Poe.
Passed away in November of 2016. A quiet force in Kansas City's film, UMKC, LGBT, and faith communities. This was he was a former Methodist minister, and this is a direct quote from him. If you're going to sin, sin boldly.
Hey,
That's
wait,
hard.
He was a minister who was
He was a
openly
minister.
gay?
Yeah, that's hard. I like that.
You know what?
I like that. What a G.
You know what? Okay. Cool. Sounds actually kind of cool. Tom Poe Award. Fuck yeah. For I wonder. I don't even want to look. I'll wait for Moonlight. But Moonlight won. I don't know.
Moonlight definitely won this.
Yeah. So I'd imagine.
Well, I don't know. That movie came out in 2016. I don't know if that award didn't exist yet, because he hadn't passed away yet.
I see. I guess maybe
I wonder if it is a posthumous honorary award.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's interesting. I'm glad to have learned about Tom Poe. I'll be
there. We go.
Reading a little bit more about him because that's fascinating.
Doesn't. Wow, none for Moonlight? No, can't. Oh, okay. I was gonna say it did. Okay, it did. Tom Poe existed in 2016, and it won. It also just won Best Film, or nominated for Best Film, and it won Best Supporting Actress for Naomi Harris. So, damn. Wow. There was a tie. That's crazy. Tied with Viola Davis for Fences. They gave both of. That's awesome. I love
that.
Yeah, why not? Fuck it. Just
they're like, yeah, fuck it. We like both.
This is why the KCFCC. Yeah, Kansas City Film Critics Circle Award. There's no fast way. There's no good way to say it. I feel like that's the only bad thing about it. It's quite the long acronym that doesn't roll.
KCFCC Award.
Yeah, KCFCCA. The KFCA.
The KFCA.
The KFCA. Tom Poe Award. It's going to be the staple.
I love it. Here. I love it. No, I'm glad Queer got some recognition for it last year, because this is one that was received rather mixedly. Yeah. So that's why I hadn't really caught it yet. It actually never made its way to the theater over here, which is why I didn't catch it in theater. I would have loved to.
Yeah.
And I'd just been kind of waiting for it to roll around here for us, because it's been on Max for a little bit. I put it on the list because I was like, I need to watch it. I want to watch it. Let's watch it and cover it. No better way to do it. And I'm very glad we did, because I fell in love with this movie, man. I thought it was just beautiful. And I don't think that, it's gotten enough credit, especially considering I get that Challengers also came out last year, and that has a much more broad appeal. That does have a much larger net that it's casting.
No mysticism there. Nothing up in the air really there. Nothing that's kind of like, it
makes sense that would become a little bit more of a pop, pop
it's got
movie.
Zendaya. Come on.
It's Zendaya, Josh O'Connor, Mike Faced. Yeah, it makes sense. But I don't know that any director has quite as tight a top three for me as Luca Guadagnino. And I mean that not in terms of like, oh, he's got the best top three movies ever. No, not by any stretch. But as far as I have no idea how I rank my three favorite Luca Guadagnino movies. I don't know that another director quite has that. It's this, Challengers, and Bones and All. All of them are fucking brilliant. And this has a lot more Bones and All and Suspiria in it than it does Challengers. So if you liked this vibe from Luca G, you should definitely watch those.
Yeah, I like this whole team. Reznor and Ross giving the music too. Been listening to it.
They did a great job again. That's too.
Been nice. Cinema, like everything was just cooking. I think the shots, I can basically boil all of them down to like the disembodied shots. And whenever that just sort of happened, it was, oh man. But like,
whenever he reaches towards him at the bar and like his hand is like see-through, I loved that. I thought that was so pretty. And again, at the movie theater, he leans into him without leaning into him and all that. It's dude, it's gorgeous.
And then they're in separate beds. He reaches across and he's like almost about to rub his ribs, and then Allerton rolls over and he's like, I thought you were about to rub my ribs or whatever. So it's like he is telepathic. I don't know. Like it feels like no, there is something there. Like there, I don't know. Like
there is a connection happening.
Yes, and it was just getting, like it was getting stronger over time. So it's like yes, this door, it did open, and I think it's Joe who says it. Schwartzman's character is like, that's why I hate queers or something. Is that you can never just be friends, or it's always got to be romantic, or it's always
Right.
something like that. And I feel like this relationship between Lee and Allerton, maybe the best form of it is just like to learn like telepathy, I don't know, or like just to communicate that way. And like it's not a romantic communication, but I mean it seems like it, but it's like I don't know, maybe that was more what they were there for, or something. So it's like it feels like they were good for each other in some ways, but not romantic. Like their romantic relationship was not, I don't know, from the outside perspective, it does not look good. Like, yeah, Lee, like, I don't know.
Lee's hopelessly devoted to him. Allerton's clearly not on the same page, even if he wants to be, it seems like.
Yeah. And I couldn't tell if it was like, I don't think it's a kink thing where he was like wanting to have Lee chase him more, or like
no, I don't think that was the case either.
I think it is just like I don't know. He doesn't quite know himself either.
Yeah, I don't think he's playing hard to get. I think he's hard to get.
Yeah.
Like I don't think it's something he's putting on. I don't think it's something that he's trying to do to allure Lee. I think it's just the way he is, and I think that does draw Lee to him even more. There's he's kind of the embodiment of the fascination Lee has with understanding. With that telepathy. Like, I wish I could communicate without speaking. I wish I could just understand. And then there comes along this man who defies understanding. Like there is no getting it. Not only is he hard to get in the sense that he's hard to get with, he's hard to get as in hard to understand. Like you're like, I don't know what you mean. I don't know. Like, I love that he's like, he looks at Jason Schwartzman after Allerton gets up and he's like, do you think he's queer? I've been hanging out with him for 2 weeks and I just cannot tell, like he's just, I don't get it. He's like, well, you could just ask. And he's like, no, God, no, fuck. It's,
maybe that's the point is like, he's the hardest one to read. So it's the ultimate like telepathy, where it would matter the most. Where
I think that's a big reason that Allerton has a massive appeal to Lee. And I think that the telepathy was something he already had a pre-existing interest in, and then this person comes along who is the perfect foil to it, and I think that draws him to it even more. Like that, whenever he gets really drunk and talks to him at the party, that's what he's saying. I want to talk to you without speaking. I want to feel you without touching you. Like there's
like Allerton had like he worked for the newspaper or something like that, and he was
a journalist a photojournalist on assignment.
Why was there like a moment in which Lee was upset to hear that for some reason, or was that something else?
There's some point whenever he says your job, and like and he does. He immediately lets it go. He's like, never mind. I think it's the possessiveness kind of coming out, like like kind of being like, no, your job's bullshit. Like, go to South America with me.
Okay. I didn't know if maybe Allerton had an ulterior motive of gain. Like he was just there for the journalist
side of it. I don't know that he. I mean, he very well could have been, but I don't think he was. I'm pretty sure they don't leave for South America until after his journalistic assignment concludes.
True. Yeah, he says it is ending. So, okay, yeah, that's. Yeah, then I think because then yeah, it feels like Allerton is, I don't know, he might be like the character of the movie, which is kind of crazy. Is like,
no, I think he is. I think he
Yeah.
is. He's just fascinating. And Lee, while I empathize and even, you know, I almost feel sorry for Lee in a way. There's just kind of something, and I don't mean this in a negative way, because this is what vulnerability and love can do to a motherfucker. He's kind of pathetic, you know, and I don't think that there's anything in this movie that's trying to make you go, oh, he's not, you know, he kind of is. And ultimately, I think that makes him, it does make him a much more empathetic character also. Like, you do feel for him and you do want to see him happier.
It's like,
but you also
so
go
much older, and it's like,
he's so much older, and there's also this, like, at a certain point, you know, what are you still chasing him for?
Yeah.
You know, like, at a certain point, it stops being, and it never was, oh, he's a tease. He's never been a tease. Like, that's not the case. But, you know, like, clearly this isn't going to work out. I don't know. Like, so at what point do you go, maybe you move on? This movie makes the clear statement that he never will.
That's at least true. If he did die alone, he definitely still didn't move on, because that's the last thought he's thinking of. If he's having this trip to see that this will be his last thought, then he's like, damn, that will be me in my deathbed. So yeah, it's like, either way, he knows that he'll never be able to move on. And maybe, you know, that's kind of the point of Portrait of a Lady on Fire, is that it kind of in the best way there, where
again,
it's like,
an opposite way.
Yeah, they had to move on, but they want to remember all of that. That's like, no, please remember all of that. And kind of, I don't know, yeah, flipped on its head here a little bit, where it's like he would maybe like to forget about it, but he can't, because it actually was, there were some nice parts. And
it changed his life, you know, like he was a, for lack of a better term, I mean, a slut.
Yeah.
Bro got around.
Out slut. Like, honestly, which is kind of, it's like, it's bad to, I don't know, but it's kind of the truth. The mirror, you know, it is just what it is.
Yeah. And Allerton comes along, and he all of a sudden has this, infatuation that he can't shake. And, you know, he dedicates 2 weeks to him before he tries anything, which is clearly longer than is typical. You know, like, I love the opening sequence of this movie where he's bouncing from bar to bar, or hitting on people and stuff. Like, it's awesome. It's a great sequence. And I love whenever he invites him back to his apartment for the first time. Why don't we go back to my apartment? You know, and like they get there, and you know he keeps hinting. You know, he's like, why don't I show you the whole abode? And he shows him the bedroom. And again, you know, there's that moment whenever he opens the door to the bedroom where Drew Starkey just kind of sits there, and then he sets his drink down and gets up and walks into the bedroom and sits on the bed. And you're like, okay, that's a sign, that's a signal, you know. And then that's why I'm like, it's fascinating that there is such an ambiguity about Allerton. And I love that this movie makes it clear that the reason there's an ambiguity is because he doesn't even know himself, you know.
It's like he's deciding it in the moment. Like, I don't know, he's like actively thinking about it, and he's like, oh, well, okay,
why not? You know, why not? You know, and I think that like, there's
I'll show you the bedroom, and he's honestly looking at him kind of pissed. He's like, wow,
he looks annoyed. There's a certain annoyance that Allerton is depicted with a lot of the time, you know, like, and I think that there's, I really, really enjoy that Allerton is on a journey of self-discovery while Lee is on a journey trying to discover him also. And there's kind of this point where Lee will never have the access because Allerton will never let him in.
It's Lee, I don't know. Lee's just got some, like I don't know, he, during that apartment scene too, he like walked over, saw all of his heroin, all the spoon, all you know, all that stuff. And he's like, oh, okay, you know, whatever. And he's seeing just his apartment. You know, like Lee's like, oh no, you never take people back to your apartment.
Yeah,
know,
your problem is that you
or
took them back to your
whatever. It's like,
apartment. Yeah.
and then but doing exactly that.
The
you
watch
know,
I don't mind, not even the radio. But it hurts to lose those boots.
I love man, yeah, wearing like
it.
the Jesus sandals and
Yeah.
like kind of showing them off though. Like he's just laying in the windowsill. Like oh man, yeah, he was
notes
so
of Darjeeling Limited coming through there. Him laying on the windowsill in that yellow robe in Darjeeling. Similar shot there. But
okay, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I love Jason Schwartzman though, so I'm always going to be a sucker for him, and he does just an incredible job here. But yeah, I loved it. I loved it a lot more than I thought I was going to. I thought it was, just crushingly beautiful, man. I thought it was ethereal in both sight and sound. I thought it sounded brilliant. I think it's an overlooked part of a lot of movies, and it's something I don't notice I love unless I love it, you know. Like if I don't love the sound in a movie, it's not like I'm like, oh, the sound was bad, I just don't notice it. When I do notice it, I'm like, oh my god, I fucking love this, you know.
The polar opposites as well, going from not a lot of music whatsoever, barely used.
Oh,
to
tons of music here.
Yeah,
I loved it.
Good.
I loved the music in this one. Come as you are, kicking off with the Nirvana a little bit. Marigold.
Oh man, yeah, I can't. Is Reznor and Ross? Reznor. Reznor. I want to say Rensler for Tron.
Right.
I'm making too many connections in the brain at one time. But no, yeah, this is a team that I don't know, just make. They don't even have, like, I guess it is just gay movies. Yeah, I don't know. Just this and Challengers.
Queer film.
Just keep it going.
Sayambu Mukti Pram as the cinematographer, both this and Challengers. Justin Kuritsky's as the writer, both this and Challengers. Luca G as the director, both this and Challengers. Reznor and Ross.
Yeah.
Composer, both this and Challengers. I'm pretty sure the editor's the same, too.
Damn. I mean, why not? You know, if it ain't
they were like, let's go make a couple movies this year. How about it?
Yep. And I hope they got more cooking. Because this is a good team. I really, really do like this team. And yeah, Luca G. Gotta watch Call Me by Your Name now, because I do, or Bones and All. Probably first.
Call Me by Your Name is also Luca G though.
Yes, but
Luca G and Timmy C.
Timmy as well. Wow, I guess they were both Timmy. That's what I was gonna say is Bones and All, because I wanted more Timmy, but never mind. Either way I go.
I haven't watched Call Me by Your Name, but it's mostly because of Armie Hammer.
Let's see.
I love Armie Hammer.
This guy. The cannibal guy?
The cannibal
is
guy.
That God, that's crazy. Every time he comes back around, it's like they add the cannibal.
You're like,
that's
what, the cannibal guy?
Crazy. That is insane.
No, it's bizarre.
Wow. Social
but
Network,
so like
Yacht Club,
I will watch it eventually because I love Timothée Chalamet and I love Luca Guadagnino.
Yeah. Damn.
So like it's something that I will get around to, but I just haven't done it yet.
Eesh. Yeah, what a thing just to have on a movie, or just I don't know, anything he's in.
Well, it's got Armie Hammer though. Yeah, it's one of those. But yeah, man, I don't have much else to say about Queer. I loved it. I thought it was a beautiful movie. One of those alluring films that if it hadn't been so late when I finished it, I probably would have just ran it back. That's a couple movies in a row that I felt that way, and I haven't felt that way in a while. So
different feelings. Yeah, that's for Portrait of a Lady on Fire is run it back and feel, I don't know, feel
comfy.
Good. Yeah, comfy, but this is like run it back to, I gotta know a little bit more. I don't know. I gotta figure things out still a little bit. Or like,
and there are a lot of people who I like, who I frankly agree with most of the time and trust, and I love their takes and stuff. And you know, one of the people on my letterbox, one of my mutuals, said that this movie doesn't really say anything, even though it feels like it's trying to. And I don't entirely disagree with that. But it didn't negatively impact the movie for me the way it negatively impacted her. You know, like it, I kind of liked how meandering it was and kind of how internal a lot of it is. There's not a lot of, it doesn't really feel like it's trying to say something about society or anything like that.
No.
It just is a depiction of these characters doing their thing, and I think it ends up paying off big time as a character piece.
Yeah. If anything, an ayahuasca push of like, yeah, the Russians and Americans are using it for experiments. What the fuck does that mean? Which is crazy enough. I mean, we have people that are on hour-long extended trips of ayahuasca. So it's like, and we are mapping out that realm or whatever. It's like, wait, what the fuck? What does that mean? So it's like, it's more, that's why I'm just like deeply curious, as it's a whole world that I don't know, that is like untapped, I feel like. But yeah, I'll have the people who are hour-long trip sounds god awful. I don't know. Like, that just sounds...
I can't even imagine how long that feels.
Oh my lord. Like, yeah, that's like, I feel like you could get trapped. Like, this is a thing that I feel like we don't understand at all, and is like, I don't know. The people who say like, yeah, I lived a whole life as an inanimate object or whatever, and then I came back finally 90 years later, and it's like, no. I don't even want...
No.
I don't want that. So yeah, but no. Yeah, I guess it doesn't... I mean, what does Talladega Nights say? What does Dumb and Dumber say? What is all the, movies don't have to say anything. It's just because this one's more artful or more beautiful that you want it to say something, I guess. But it's like, I feel like even, it doesn't have to have like a theme that hits you right in the face. It's more of like, I don't know, it gets you to think of just relationships, what they mean, doors opening, doors closing. I think like that's enough. I like
I tend to agree. Yeah, that's why I'm like, I really, really loved it, man. I thought it was beautiful, and I think that this was the only blind spot I had, and beyond, like, now we're 5 for 5. I can guarantee you these are all fucking fantastic movies, and that's
good month.
Yeah, we're looking at some fucking bangers here, and at least 3 Tom Poe award winners, 4 it sounds like with Moonlight.
That's true. Yes, this is and I guess I don't know, in the background I can check the others.
Well, The Handmaiden's the only other one, and it was the same year as Moonlight, so it can't be.
I see. Dang it. So okay, well that's sad, but maybe it won something else in the Kansas City, the Kafka or however we'll say that. But yeah, it won Best Foreign Film, The Handmaiden.
There you are.
So there we go.
Look at that.
Yeah. So we're still there.
Yeah, we're coming up. Kansas City Film Critics Circle Awards over here for the month. But yeah, no, I loved it, and I look forward to Moonlight and I Saw the TV Glow next week, baby. I'm very, very excited. But I'll do the plugs real quick, if you will. Go ahead, like and subscribe wherever you might be listening. Leave a 5-star rate and review, and download the episode. That would be a huge help. May was a great month, one of our best yet. I would like if June is even better, so keep on downloading. That'd be awesome. I would appreciate it greatly. You can check out our other podcast, Fire Pod with me, a Twin Peaks podcast. We are doing a Twin Peaks watch through for the first time viewer and the rewatcher alike. I'm the rewatcher and Joe is the first time viewer. If you have never seen Twin Peaks, it's the show for you, and if you have seen Twin Peaks, even easier yet. Just make sure you watch it with us. That'd be a lot of fun. So yeah, Twin Peaks, Fire Pod with me. We're into season 2 now, and it's a lot of fun. So check that out. We've also got Geek with me. It's our nerd shit podcast, Star Wars, fantasy, sci-fi, all that good stuff. We're making sure to update that as frequently as we want to, really, every couple weeks or so, and it's going well. So I'm excited with that. Check that out, and yeah, like I said, come back next week for Moonlight and I Saw the TV Glow. But let's go ahead and rate this film. How are we feeling?
So, I was right last night. It did earn the 5-star treatment, and then I don't know. I had the La Chimera comparison, which is a 5-star. La Chimera, yes, 5. I don't think this is quite La Chimera, and I don't think this is quite Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
I agree.
So I removed the 5, so it's not quite there, but I think it was there at one point, you know. So like it was so different. It was so, or I don't know, it was unique enough where I could still be like, oh no, I'm feeling Wes Anderson, Kubrick, and La Chimera, all these things, but it's like, no, I'm having to throw a lot into the pot to make this up. It's not like I can be like, oh yeah, this is just like La Chimera. It's not. It's not just like Wes. It's not just like Kubrick either. So it's like I don't know. It is very. I have to come here if I want this type of movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I'm still
Very
pretty
singular.
high on it, but not quite like not quite Portrait of a Lady on Fire. I'm not quite at the 10.
No, I'm not either.
So-
And 10s are no doubters, you know, like whenever we
Yeah.
have a 10, we know we have a 10. And yeah, I agree. This isn't. But it's in the 9s for me. I really, really do love it. I think that a 9.25 was kind of where my gut took me. I think it's on the lower half there.
that was flat. Kind of felt like right for me. Just a 9 flat there. Or so I guess if you want to give it the 2.5, that's a 9.
Yeah, I'll give it the 9.25 if you want to give it the 9, and we'll take the average there.
A 9.13 or a 91 for this.
91% for queer. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. A good. I don't know. Just for number 2. Yeah, we're starting off damn hot, and then Moonlight. I've just heard the most about this one. Still
Yeah, I
knowing
mean, it was
nothing
the best
about
picture winner, and best supporting actor winner. It's a lot. It's a lot of great stuff. So I do look forward to Moonlight on Juneteenth next week, and I saw the TV Glow on Friday next week. Very, very excited. We got those coming on back-to-back days, so go ahead and be ready for those. That's why you should subscribe wherever you're listening, download wherever you're listening, and just stick with us in general. But I think with that we can conclude this episode of The Sentimentalists. I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here, homie.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. And remember, I'm disembodied.